Well, it's early Sunday morning, and Chris just showed up. How's it going, man?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Another muggy one today.
Yeah, yeah.
Where all you been?
Went down to Richmond, Kentucky. Dropped off two down there, two big machines.
This goes on the outside, right?
Yep. Perfect. You're all set up.
All right, we got her unloaded. Wasn't too big of a deal at all, really. And we just put the chip deflector on it. We're gonna kind of go over a few of the features on this thing and how it works. Actually, Chris is, because he knows way more about it than I do. Chris built this, along with all the other Wolfe Ridge products. But yeah, this is pretty nice. This will be a game changer here. Really, I didn't think you could go any faster. This eliminates Melissa, by the way.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, then maybe she can, actually she could run the levers. She can run the handles on the splitter while you're cutting.
Right, yeah. She's
gonna like that idea.
Yeah. All right, how does this chip deflector work? I think I got a good idea here, but...
Okay, so as the wood falls off the conveyor up top here, the big chunks are gonna hit here, and a lot of those small bark chips and whatnot will fall through the grizzly bars, okay? And then they'll ride down this chute and stay out of your wood pile. And you can actually, it'll make a small pile back towards the wheels here. You can actually set a bin underneath there.
Okay, yeah.
And
make good kindling.
Keep all that kindling and keep it organized where you can just pick it up.
Right.
Carry it off. But it keeps it, main thing is keeping it out of the wood pile so
Yeah.
the customer's not mad when you drop it off. And then this is all hydraulic drive. It's got forward and reverse.
So
Okay.
reverse you would use if you ever get a clog or something.
Right. Yep. You can, every once in a while it is good to run it backwards just to kind of clear anything that's
Right.
you know, settled in the bottom
Yeah.
near the pulleys. It is fully adjustable as far as tension on the chain.
Now what sizes of these do you make? A 16, 24? And
Yep.
you make a bigger one?
Yep, 16, 24, we've made up to a 40 foot.
Really?
8-foot sections.
How big a pile of wood could you make with a 40 footer?
40 foot can go up to 18 foot tall.
Yeah.
And, you know, still have the rotating hubs and everything.
Yeah.
The 40 footer is made in 2 sections with, you know, a 16 foot and a 24 foot
I gotcha.
section. And that thing's a monster.
So you said rotating hubs. Let's take a look at that. This is nice. That way, if I have any questions, I can go back and watch my own video. So
Right.
learn. So
Right.
the rotating hubs.
Excuse me. So the rotating hubs, we have this whole assembly actually will pivot 90 degrees. So then you can fan that wood pile out.
Right.
Okay. So towing down the road, you'd have it bolted in, secured here. When you go to rotate side to side, you can rotate this hub assembly 90 degrees this way, and we'll spin.
Right.
You can fan that pile out probably 30 degrees in each direction,
Right.
and not have to move the splitter.
Oh, okay. Because that's
So
what I was thinking. You would have to.
It'll pivot back by the splitter here,
Right.
and
Nice.
you shouldn't have to. I mean, you may jockey the splitter around a little bit, but
Right.
for the most part, you're not having to move your whole setup.
Very nice. Okay. What's the valve in the center?
That valve there is for speed control.
Okay.
That controls how much flow you're getting to the rest of the system. It actually comes from the pump first, goes through here, and bypasses any excess.
I gotcha.
Okay, and then it goes to the main control valve where you have your raise and lower, forward and back. The chain forward and back are set on a relief, and they lock in position.
I gotcha.
The raise and lower are spring center, so as soon
Right.
as you let off the handle, it stops going up or down.
Very nice. So you sure you shouldn't have gone with a heavier chain in there?
I think that one's sufficient.
What is it?
That's called a 81X roller chain, and it's basically made for like big sawmill,
Right.
lumber mills.
That is a heavy duty chain.
Yeah, that thing is stout. It's rated at 24,000 pounds pull strength.
Okay.
It's going to take a heck of a block of wood to break that chain.
Yeah, that would definitely move some wood.
You know, and it's about a 1/4 inch thick, 3/16 thick on each link on each side, and then it has rollers in the middle. So it actually rolls on here. It doesn't actually bind up as it's going over the cogs.
Right. Is there a specific, I mean, I guess it's going to move any firewood, but is there anything that's too short, too long, or anything like that?
We make the trough 15 inches wide. Okay, so if you're cutting at 15, there's a tendency a piece might jam up here. But that's why we made it, you know, most of the time people are cutting at 16 inch.
Or longer, yeah.
Or longer. So, and then most of our splitters are a 24 inch stroke length. So we make sure that we have at least 24 inches in between.
Okay.
And less than 16 inches wide.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So that the wood will go up in one direction.
Yeah.
And that actually helps to keep separating the chips when it gets to the top. Keeps it nice and organized when it goes up. And then once it hits the grizzly bars, a lot more of those chips will fall through.
Right. So you have a Honda on this one as well.
Right, so it's a Honda GX200. I believe it's like a 6 horsepower rated. And we run a small single stage pump. With,
How long will this run on a tank of fuel?
Actually, we have a guy that's basically idling it along all day long. He's running about 12 hours on a tank.
Really?
Or on a gallon. I'm not sure exactly how. I think it holds like 3/4 of a gallon.
Really? And you can get all day, 12 hours.
Yeah. And you pretty much just idle it along, and it, you know, it keeps up just fine.
Yeah. And then the hydraulic tank's on the other side.
Right. So that has a 10-gallon tank on it. Has a filtered return, all steel powder coated tank.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The entire thing's all powder coated.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, this is a Cardinal powder, and we call it Red Baron is what we call it. And it actually, with a blasted surface, it has, I believe it's a 5-year outdoor warranty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, indoor it would be like a 10-year warranty. And of course, the center where it's, you know, where the wood is going up the chute, it actually will wear out, you know, probably within a year. But
I was surprised at the now I've probably, with the compact commercial, I've probably split, I don't know, 15 cord with it so far, or something like that. And even the table, it looks you know, it's
the
amazing.
table will hold all the paint on it, except for maybe the very end where it's falling off that edge. That'll actually hold, all the paint will be on there for probably 2,000 cord.
Really?
Roughly.
Yeah.
And the wedges finally start wearing the paint off the main, you know, like the main wedge starts wearing that paint off probably 10 cord in, and that's, I mean, that's the most severe pressure, you know, that you can get as far as wear.
Right.
You know.
I'm telling you, this is really nice. How many grease fittings, you know? I mean, you got...
All right, so yeah, we have...
at this end here.
Yep, we've got a couple for the main pivot where the... when you raise and lower. Okay, those giant bolts there. It's 1.5 inch bolt, like 7 inches long.
Yeah, that's a lot of bolt.
Yeah. Couple of big pipe wrenches to get those ones tight. Nylock bolt and nylock nuts on those. So we've got grease zerks on those, and we've got grease zerks on each of the idler bearings, top and bottom. So it's 6 grease fittings on the whole thing. Excuse me, no, there's 8 grease fittings on the whole thing.
That is really nice. It is. I'm telling you, it's very well built.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't skimp on anything. You know, sometimes though you see stuff, and some of the simplest things you're thinking, that couldn't cost that much more. Why did they do that? I don't see a thing on here that you cut any corners on at all.
Thank you.
So Chris is you're a welder by trade, obviously.
That's right, yep.
And then tell me about all the welds on this and who does it, or, you know, how you came up with the system that you have here.
Okay, sure. So we use some high-end Miller welding equipment at our shop. We have pulse wire feed. A lot of guys, you know, with this lighter material, will run a MIG setting. You know, to keep the material from warping, you know, we'll use a little lighter weld process. But like on this main frame here, we'll actually pulse weld most of this stuff. And it's all set up on our fixture table. You know, we have a modular fixture table that we can make different fixtures for everything. Yeah. And that helps us keep everything nice and square and true. And Josh and Ben actually built this machine. Josh has been working for me since about 6 months after I started. He actually was welding for me in my garage.
Yeah. And
he remembers the times when we'd have to use a plasma cutter. So we'd unplug the air compressor.
Yeah.
So we could use a plasma cutter. And then as the plasma cutter, you use it for about 5 minutes and then you run out of air. So you'd have to go back, plug in the air compressor, let that fill back up. And then you could go back to plasma cutting for another five minutes or so. And of course we had no ventilation, and I've got a 7-foot, 8-foot ceiling in the garage. Yeah. And so middle of winter, we've got the doors open, we got, you know, heat coming out, you know, we had a heat system from the outdoor boiler, and
it's amazing,
you know,
how things evolve, and they have for you in just
right.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he spends, I might have mentioned in another video, but you spend all week at the shop and then weekends on the road delivering units.
Yeah,
and,
a lot of times, yep.
Yeah, and going to shows and things like that. But Chris will be we're going to be there as well. Don't forget that Boonville, New York show. And then we'll be at the Paul Bunyan one, and then you're at a couple other ones as well.
Right. So we'll be at, in September, we'll be in Escanaba.
Escanaba, where's that?
Yep, in Michigan.
Okay.
In the UP. A. And so we'll be at that show, booth number 1014. We'll have conveyor there and a few splitters. We'll be at, that's the Great Lakes Logging Congress Expo. And then we'll be at the North Star Expo in Grand Rapids, Minnesota the following weekend. And then the Paul Bunyan show. And after the Paul Bunyan show, I've got a couple weekends off. We'll be at the TCI Expo in Pittsburgh coming up in November.
And you said that's an indoor show.
That one's an indoor show. It's a small
November,
booth.
Probably a good idea. And
yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Right. Yep. That one's a smaller booth. We'll have probably some of the heavier duty machines, maybe a compact commercial, and then, you know, a really heavy duty, you know, our industrial model.
Very
for
cool.
the tree guys.
So I don't think I asked the question, but how high can you stack with this 24-footer?
So this 24-foot, you'll end up getting a pile about 11 feet high underneath the grizzly bar set.
Okay.
If you need to, you could take those grizzly bars off or fold them under. If you needed to load into a truck, say 12, you know, over 12 foot high, you would be able to do that. Lower that end down, raise that end up.
Gotcha.
Should be able to get into a
triaxle.
Triaxle.
11.5 or something like that is the bed height probably.
Yep.
Very nice.
And generally speaking, if you're loading into a triaxle, you've got the wood already piled up, you know, and you're throwing it in. And don't be scared to pitch, you know, chuck wood in there. I do it all the time. It's just
in the hopper.
Into the hopper, yeah.
Yeah.
You can stand at the pile 10, 15 foot away.
Yeah.
Throw it in.
Oh yeah. Then you've got drain holes down there.
Yep.
And then let me look underneath here once.
All right, so underneath here we have our idler wheel, our idler pulley, and we have this big window here for servicing that pulley. And then right under here, this formed lip here stiffens everything up. And then we actually have a window where a lot of the chips will fall through. Anything that, you know, kind of collects in here, will fall through underneath here.
Gotcha.
And then this tongue extends out. You can actually run that tongue back in so it's out of the way, so you're not tripping over it when you're using it. Right now we've got it fully extended and great for towing it around. You know, the UTV does a great job with it. All right, up in the top here we have this rubber flap, and what this does is it keeps any big chunks from going back into that pulley.
I gotcha.
So that keeps it free, you know, keeps anything from jamming up down there.
Right.
All right, and then this is our pivot plate. So once you're set up in a spot, you can set the ball hitch right on here. Set this on the ground, and you can use that to pivot the machine side to side.
I gotcha. Yeah, nice. Just kind of slide it then.
Yeah.
All right, you want to fire it up and we'll test it out. And like, do you need to oil the chain or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. This machine we just basically oil, you know, used engine oil will work. I'll drizzle a little 10W30 on it. And after you use it for a little while, it quiets down, and actually the sawdust helps to kind of quiet it down as well. So it's a little noisy at first. Once you get it oiled up good, it does quiet down quite a bit.
Yeah, and plus you're wearing hearing protection the whole time splitting anyway.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so right now we have the fuel turned off for transport, of course. And then here's your choke. This is your throttle. And most of the time you're going to run this at a quarter throttle, maybe half throttle tops.
Okay.
And here's your on and off switch. Everything's nice and easy to get at. And these Hondas start really nice. So. That's that.
I don't know if you can hear me. I just told Chris, I said, I'm going to take 2 weeks vacation right now. I'm calling my boss. We're going to make wood. Middle of July, who cares? This makes it easy.
Let me put a call into the wife.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Canceling our trip this fall. I'm splitting wood right now. Oh, that's awesome.
I think we should wait till tomorrow when it's cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's still supposed to be in the 90s again today. It's first thing Sunday morning. It's already hot right now.
Yep.
I was just telling Chris that, you know, I'll start splitting some wood with this maybe tomorrow. And then I got to thinking, there's no way I can't use it later today. That's for sure. That's really nice, Chris. It really is. And by the way, we were talking how much I appreciate, you know, this arrangement we have. Chris is a small business, you know, American-made stuff. He's putting guys to work. And just through our videos, you know, we're able to showcase this stuff. Great product. And I thank you. I really do. It's just great how this all works out. I really appreciate it.
When you've helped us so much in you know, getting our brand out there. I definitely appreciate all the, you know, all the hours you put in at the camera and the editing, and definitely helps us too. So
I love it. And you know, what do you got? 7 employees?
Right. Yep.
7 employees, and it's a match made in heaven. It is. Works perfect.
Right. Yeah, we're a small shop. Still do a little bit of custom work. You know, we just did. You know, a lot of times it's a different color, or you know, hey, I want the valves located here, or
yeah.
You know, we're actually doing desert sand colored,
nice,
super high output machine coming up for a Marine Corps veteran down in he's over in Massachusetts.
That is awesome.
So that, you know, always something we're working on, and
good deal,
trying new stuff. So
well, I appreciate you coming out and dropping this bad boy off. This will be great. I'm excited. Gonna be a lot of wood cutting here late summer, early fall, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, that really you know, that kind of frees up Melissa to to run the handles, or to grab more rounds for the splitter, and
or while I'm at work, she can just be doing it all.
There we go. Yep.